July 2023 wasn't just another summer day in Baker County. For Ariya Paige, the world outside the car became an unreachable escape. Her cries, muffled by the heat, pressed against every surface. Rhonda Jewell, the woman tasked to take care of her, didn't realize Ariya was missing until far too late. 5 hours is a long time when the temperature inside the car soars to a fatal level. How does something like this happen? Was it a moment of distraction? Or was there something more to the story? The answer to those questions might chill you more than the tale itself. Welcome back, everyone, to True Crime Desk. I'm Richard. Now, today's case is definitely going to be a tough one. It might be hard for some of you guys to hear, but I think it's very important to get the word out there and to tell her story so this stuff will stop happening, because it's becoming an epidemic at this point. So with all that being said, let's get into the case. On July 19, 2023 in Baker County, Florida, Ariya Paige's little life ended in a horrific way. Ariya Paige was only 10 months old when she was picked up by her babysitter, 46-year-old Rhonda Jewell. Now, Rhonda was from Sanderson, Florida, and she was trusted to care for Ariya. But did her negligence lead to Ariya's untimely death? Now, that's what we're here to discuss today. Now, this is a very sad case, and I actually thought about not doing it. Anytime it involves a baby or anything, it's difficult to listen to, much less do. But I also think it's very important that we get this information out there so this kind of stuff stops happening. So let's get started. Now, on the morning of July 19, 2023, the sheriffs in Baker County, Florida said that Rhonda picked up Ariya from her mother, Brooke Paige, at around 8 a.m. Now, it was a routine exchange and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Now, their home is in McClinney, which is west of Jacksonville. She then drove to another home where she babysat other children. Now, the sheriff's report said that Rhonda drove to a Burger King, but the line was too long, so she left. She then drove to another home where she was caring for 3 other children. Now, Rhonda left Ariya strapped in her car seat. Now, if you don't know the story already, you can see where this is going, and it's not going to be a good ending, that's for sure. Now, as I said at the beginning, this is July in Florida, and according to the sheriff's department, the outside temperature was already climbing into the 90s, and inside the car it would soon soar to 133 degrees. And remember, Ariya was only 10 months old, so once she was strapped inside that car seat, she had no way of getting out on her own. Now, Rhonda later claimed that she forgot Ariya was in the car and assumed the baby was asleep. So instead of checking, she went inside and began her day with the other children. Now, I know you can get busy and things get hectic when you're taking care of multiple children, but to not remember that a little baby's in the car, this happens a lot, like I said, and I don't understand it. Now, later on, I'll discuss how I feel comfortable speaking on this, even though I should be able to speak on anything I want. But a lot of times, you get pushed back because you'll say you're a guy, you don't know what it takes to take care of kids and all that stuff. But like I said, as we move on further, I'll explain later on how I feel comfortable talking about this stuff. 5 hours later, at around 1:30 p.m., Ariya's mother, Brooke, arrived at the other home to pick up Ariya. And that's when Rhonda discovered that Ariya was still in her car. Now, according to sheriff's reports, she was unresponsive, and Brooke pulled Ariya from the car and immediately called for help. Now, deputies arrived and began life-saving measures, but it was too late. Now, Ariya was pronounced dead at the hospital, and the medical examiner determined that the heat inside the car had been lethal. Very, very sad. Now, I can only imagine what that poor little thing went through, sitting in that car and not being able to get out and being helpless and strapped down. What a nightmare that poor little thing went through. The Baker County Sheriff's Department launched an investigation, quickly leading to Rhonda's arrest in that August. She faced charges including aggravated manslaughter of a child and third-degree felony M. Now, Rhonda explained that she was distracted, and she told the investigators she simply forgot that Ariya was even in the car. Like, that's even a valid excuse. That's pathetic. Now, this is where I want to do something a little different before we go any further. I want to read Ariya's obituary. Now, if you don't think you're going to be able to listen to this, you can go ahead and skip ahead. But I think it's very important. It's sad, but it's very important that we don't forget about this little angel. Dearest Ariya, please know that our greatest blessing was having you. Ariya was full of life and love beyond measure. She enjoyed being outside and riding in the boat with her daddy. Ariya loved her mommy and her daddy so very much. She was most definitely a daddy's girl, but she was also mommy's mini-me and best friend. Her other best friends included her stuffed rabbit, Mr. Nibbles, and stuffed elephant, Mazella. Now, I'm not going to lie, that took me a couple times to get through that. And I'm not ashamed to tell you guys that, because if there ever comes a time where this kind of stuff doesn't affect me, then that's when I'm going to start to worry. So let's move on. Now, fast forwarding to November of 2024, after a 3-day trial, Rhonda was found guilty of third-degree felony M and guilty of causing great bodily harm to a child. But she was acquitted of the aggravated manslaughter charge. Now, she can face up to 15 years on the third-degree charge alone. Now, she would be sentenced at a later date after a pre-sentencing investigation. Now, I don't know what I think about the not guilty on the manslaughter charge. I mean, I personally think she should have been found guilty on all three. So I guess I do know how I feel on it. I have zero tolerance for this, and, I don't have any pity for her whatsoever. All I have to do is think about that little baby sitting in that car where she can't get out. What a nightmare. Brooke Paige described her baby as bubbly and always laughing. And the jury's decision brought some relief to Ariya's family, but the fight wasn't over. The family announced plans for a wrongful death lawsuit seeking justice for a life taken too soon. And I completely agree with that. And they're going to win that for sure. Hands down.
It took a toll on us. It took a toll on us, our family. There was a couple bumps in the road. But we pushed through. We pushed through together as a family, as a community, and we just kept going.
As of this moment, Rhonda is a convicted felon and a convicted murderer of Ariya, and that's what's important. And we've gotten through the hard part. Babies be babies. We've gotten through the hard part of the criminal trial. We are going to file a wrongful death suit.
From the beginning, I've always felt like it was cut and dry, and I didn't feel that it even needed to go to a trial. I mean, it was plain and simple from the beginning.
I have some stats on this type of death, and this stuff seems to be happening way too often. Now, Florida leads the nation in hot car deaths. In 2023 alone, 6 children lost their lives under similar circumstances. Now, experts warn it only takes a minute for a car to become a death trap in that heat. That's putting it mildly. All right, as I mentioned earlier, I want to tell you why I feel comfortable talking about this. And you might be a little confused thinking, why can't you talk about this? Well, a lot of times when things are happening and you're the wrong gender, and because I'm a guy and I'm talking about having a baby or a child in the car, a lot of times I think you don't know what you're talking about. You can't speak on that because you haven't experienced it. Well, I have. So I have 3 boys, and they're 16 months apart. And my youngest was 18 months when their mother was gone. So she was gone. I took care of them on my own. And I mean, when she was gone, she was gone. They were with me, and they didn't see her. So I know what it's like to have little ones in the car. I know what it's like to have little ones around you. And I've never for 1 second forgot my children. It's unacceptable. So for me, it's BS to say you're tired or this and that. I've been there. I've been through that. And you don't forget your kid in the car. You take responsibility. You're a pathetic human being, in my opinion, when you do that. And she deserves everything she should get. Now, I'm sorry if I come off as extremely harsh, but I take this kind of stuff personally. This little angel is no longer with us because of somebody they can't think. And it's just unacceptable, like I said. So I'm sorry if I get a little heated, but this kind of stuff really gets to me. So let's move on. Like I said, I don't mean to be coming off harsh, but this kind of stuff I kind of take personally. And so I just wanted to get the information out there, the valid information, Ariya's story, and what's important is to pay attention to what you're doing, and let's stop this from happening. It's Ariya Paige's story. She's a little angel that's now in heaven, and let's not forget about her, because that's what it's all about. Now, I know this video was a little shorter than some of them, but it's not my goal to pad these videos and make them 25 or 30 minutes, just to add a bunch of fluff. That's just the way I look at it. That's what her backstory and all that stuff that she went through. To me, I don't care. It's not important. What she did to that little baby by leaving Ariya Paige in the car. That little angel is no longer around, and I wanted to get her word out there. I could care less what happened to her in her early life and stuff. I just know what she did. So with all that being said, I know this was a tough case, but like I said earlier, I think it's very important that we get the word out there so this kind of stuff stops happening. So if you got something out of the video and you haven't subscribed already, please do. And if you'd hit the bell and all that stuff and do all that cool stuff and share the video, I'd appreciate it. So until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember to always mind your surroundings.